filled with good stuff or filled with garbage? I mean, you always have the option of renting the unit.
For just $1,800, Brandi Passante cracked open a locker no one else wanted, and inside was a jaw-dropping treasure worth an estimated $1.2 million. Yes, million. Even A&E executives reportedly didn't see this one coming. Over 14 seasons, we've seen pirate gold, rare comics, rock legends memorabilia, and insane cash finds. But this sits in a league of its own. How did she spot it? What was actually inside? And why did everyone else walk away? Stick around and watch till the very end. You won't believe how this unfolds. What was inside Brandi's $1,800 locker? What first appeared to be a quiet, ordinary storage unit ended up becoming one of the most surprising finds connected to Brandi Passante. And the reason it stood out had everything to do with what was hidden beneath the surface. The storage unit did not shout for attention. Nothing about it looked flashy or unusual at first glance. Inside sat what looked like everyday furniture, plain boxes, and items that could have belonged to almost anyone. Many people would have walked past without a second thought. Yet curiosity played a role here, and that curiosity slowly peeled back layers that revealed something far bigger than expected. As the unit was carefully explored, hidden compartments began to appear, tucked behind furniture panels and beneath stacked items. These were not obvious hiding spots, and that alone raised questions. Why would someone go to such extreme lengths to hide what looked like ordinary, forgettable belongings? That question lingered in the air until the locker doors fully opened and the truth finally revealed itself. What appeared insignificant at first quickly turned into something no one saw coming, leaving even seasoned bidders stunned. And trust me, this discovery changes everything. You'll want to watch till the very end, because what Brandy uncovers next turns a simple storage wars buy into a life-changing $1,200,000 jackpot. At the surface level, the locker showed couches, tables, lamps, and cardboard boxes filled with what seemed like common household items. This familiar setup created a sense of normalcy and even boredom. But once deeper inspection began, the tone changed completely. Inside concealed sections rested a rare collection of vintage jewelry, including diamond-covered watches and necklaces dating back to the early 1900s. Each piece carried a sense of age, care, and history. These were not items meant for casual wear or everyday use. Several pieces showed craftsmanship that clearly came from a different era, a time when jewelry was made slowly and intentionally. Alongside the jewelry, a sealed wooden crate revealed pristine first-edition books. Historical documents also appeared, bearing signatures from well-known figures whose names still carry weight today. Every discovery added another layer of disbelief. How could all of this exist in a single storage unit without drawing attention? The most stunning discovery came later in the process, when artwork emerged from a climate-controlled container hidden within the unit. Inside rested several paintings and sketches from a renowned artist. These were not reproductions or damaged leftovers. These were original pieces, preserved with extreme care. The artwork included 5 complete paintings and 3 preliminary sketches, none of which had ever been documented before. For experts, this raised immediate excitement. New discoveries from established artists rarely happen, and when they do, the art world takes notice. The condition of the artwork added even more value. Despite spending years in storage, the colors remained rich, the surfaces remained clean, and there was little to no visible wear. Whoever stored these pieces clearly understood their importance and took steps to protect them. The reason these items carried such immense value went beyond surface beauty. In the art world, authenticity and history often matter more than appearance alone. Experts were able to confirm that the paintings were genuine works by an artist with a limited and highly sought-after body of work. Scarcity plays a powerful role in value, and the fact that these pieces were previously unknown made them even more desirable. Collectors are always searching for something rare, something new, something that sets a collection apart. These paintings did exactly that. The sketches offered insight into the artist's creative process, adding another layer of interest and importance. Together, the artwork formed the backbone of the unit's overall worth. The jewelry added its own powerful contribution to the total value. Many pieces featured gemstones that are no longer mined today. Some items carried the signatures of legendary jewelers whose names alone can multiply an item's worth. These were not just decorative objects. They were historical pieces tied to specific periods, techniques, and designers. Collectors value that connection deeply. Even without the artwork, the jewelry collection alone would have been considered an extraordinary find. The books and documents, while smaller in monetary comparison, added meaningful historical depth. First edition books in pristine condition are rare, especially when stored improperly for years. Signed documents connected to prominent figures offered a direct link to moments in history, which collectors find incredibly appealing. One of the most remarkable aspects of the discovery was the condition of every item. Storage units are not known for preservation. Heat, moisture, dust, and neglect often destroy valuable items over time. Yet this unit told a different story. Everything had been carefully wrapped, sealed, and protected. Climate control measures were in place for the most sensitive items. This level of preparation suggested that the previous owner understood value and planned for long-term storage. That foresight significantly increased the market value of the collection. Condition plays a huge role in appraisals. To understand the full worth of the discovery, professional appraisers stepped in. Each category of item was evaluated separately by specialists. Art experts focused on the paintings and sketches, comparing them to recent auction results from the same artist. Based on market trends and demand, the artwork alone received an estimated value of around $800,000. Jewelry appraisers examined each piece closely, considering gemstone quality, craftsmanship, age, and designer signatures. The jewelry collection reached an estimated value of nearly $300,000, with individual items ranging from $15,000 to $50,000 each. Rare book experts and historical document specialists assessed the remaining items, adding roughly $100,000 to the total. Insurance representatives observed the process closely due to the scale of the find. Documentation, photographs, and detailed reports were created for every item. The final valuation of $1.2 million reflected a conservative auction estimate rather than a retail replacement value. This approach ensured realistic expectations if the collection ever entered the auction market. In reality, competitive bidding could push the final sale price much higher. The discovery stood as a powerful reminder that life-changing finds often come from the most unassuming places. A simple storage unit, one most bidders walked past without a second glance, ended up holding far more than dust and forgotten boxes. Behind that rusted door sat pieces of history, rare art, and craftsmanship so valuable it completely rewrote expectations. What looked like just another routine buy slowly revealed itself as something extraordinary. The kind of discovery that makes even seasoned Storage Wars veterans stop and stare. As the items were uncovered one by one, it became clear this wasn't just luck. It was one of those once-in-a-lifetime moments that people in the business talk about for years. But here's where it gets even more interesting. When you stack this find against the biggest jackpots in Storage Wars history, the six-figure lockers, the shocking million-dollar surprises, this discovery starts to feel like it belongs in a league of its own. Some wins were flashy, others were slow burns, but this one had experts questioning everything they thought they knew, so don't go anywhere. Watch closely, and stay with us till the very end. Because how this find compares to other legendary Storage Wars jackpots might completely change the way you see every storage unit door. How this find compares to other Storage Wars jackpots. Brandi Passante's stunning $1.2 million discovery earned a permanent place in Storage Wars history and reminded audiences why the show has remained so addictive for so many years. That single find turned what looked like an ordinary storage unit into a life-changing moment. And it raised a bigger question that always follows moments like this. How many unbelievable surprises have been hiding behind rusty roll-up doors all these years? Over the long run of Storage Wars, several discoveries have gone far beyond expectations, proving that luck, timing, and sharp instincts can sometimes collide in dramatic ways. Brandy's win sits near the top of that list, but it exists within a long line of jaw-dropping moments that shaped the show's reputation. One of the most talked-about discoveries came from auctioneer Dan Dotson, whose role on the show usually placed him on the sidelines rather than in the spotlight of winning bids. During one unforgettable auction, Dotson sold a storage unit for only $500. At first glance, nothing about the unit suggested anything extraordinary. Inside sat a heavy safe that refused to open easily. The buyer struggled for some time and eventually called in professional help to crack it open. What followed stunned everyone involved. Inside the safe sat an enormous amount of cash totaling $7.5 million. The discovery immediately raised serious questions. How could such a massive amount of money end up forgotten inside a storage unit? That question quickly led to legal tension. Attorneys representing the original owners reached out to the buyer and offered $1.2 million in exchange for returning the cash. Negotiations went back and forth. In the end, a compromise was reached. Most of the money went back to the original owners, while the buyer kept $1.5 million. Even after returning the majority of the cash, the buyer walked away with a return that multiplied the original $500 investment thousands of times over. Dotson later reflected on the situation and commented that accepting the $1.2 million offer would have been wise, hinting that the money may not have come from clean sources. That single moment remains the most valuable discovery in the show's history and still feels almost unreal. Another legendary find came from Daryl Sheets, often known for bold risks and confident bidding. Sheets earned the nickname The Gambler for a reason, and one episode perfectly captured why. Sheets purchased a storage unit for $3,600 without knowing what waited inside. The unit turned out to contain more than 300 paintings created by Mexican Impressionist artist Frank Gutierrez. At first, the paintings looked interesting, but uncertain in value. While sorting through the artwork, Sheets' son Brandon noticed one painting that stood out. The piece featured a heart at the top and showed a woman's arms holding two babies above blue birds resting in a nest. That unique detail raised curiosity and pushed the family to seek professional authentication. Kathy Gallegos of Avenue 50 Studio examined the collection and confirmed the artist's identity. The total value of the artwork reached an estimated $300,000. Beyond the money, the story took a meaningful turn when Sheets later connected with Gutierrez personally and returned several items that carried deep personal value. This moment added emotional weight to the discovery and showed that not every win was just about profit. When placing Brandi Passante's $1.2 million find into this wider history, the scale of the achievement becomes even clearer. Early days on the show featured far more modest successes for Brandy and former partner Jared Schultz. One early win involved a My Little Pony collection purchased for only $50 and later valued at around $1,000. That result felt exciting at the time, but it hardly hinted at what the future would bring. Over time, experience sharpened instincts and improved decision-making. Brandy's later discovery marked a dramatic leap forward. Turning a single storage unit into a seven-figure outcome represented an exponential jump compared to earlier wins. While the find did not surpass Dotson's historic $7.5 million cash locker, it still stood tall among the greatest discoveries ever shown. In pure value, Brandy's JACKPOT even surpassed Daryl Sheets' famous art collection by roughly $900,000. That comparison alone secured Brandy's position among the most successful treasure hunters in Storage Wars history. The discovery reinforced one of the show's central ideas. Every storage unit carries a story, and every bid carries risk. Some units hold nothing but dust and disappointment. Others quietly hide fortunes that rewrite expectations in an instant. That contrast keeps the auctions tense and unpredictable. Across the years, Storage Wars has thrived on moments like these because they blur the line between ordinary and extraordinary. A storage locker that looks forgettable can suddenly reveal rare art, hidden cash, or collections worth more than entire houses. Brandi Passante's $1.2 million discovery stands as proof that patience, experience, and a bit of luck can still produce shockwaves even after many seasons. The bigger question always lingers in the background. How many forgotten treasures are still sitting in the dark, locked behind rusted doors, just waiting for the right moment and the right person to stumble upon them and have their life changed forever? It's a thought that keeps curiosity alive and fuels the tension every single time a storage unit door rolls open. Because for every dusty box of old clothes, there's always the possibility of something far bigger hiding underneath. And when those rare, high-value discoveries do surface, what happens next is anything but simple. Behind the excitement, there are rules, cameras, appraisals, and decisions that can make or break someone overnight. Some finds are celebrated instantly, while others quietly trigger behind-the-scenes chaos viewers never see. That's why this part of the story matters so much. How Storage Wars handles high-value discoveries reveals a whole other layer of the show, one that changes how you see every winning bid. So stay glued till the very end, because once you understand what really happens after the cameras catch a jackpot moment, you'll never watch Storage Wars the same way again. How Storage Wars handles high-value discoveries. Behind the flashy moments and dramatic reveals shown on Storage Wars, a much more careful and organized system quietly operates whenever a valuable item appears inside a storage unit. Many people assume that cast members simply stumble onto treasure and celebrate. But the reality involves rules, pressure, paperwork, and strict control. Once a unit door rises and something unusual or valuable appears, an entirely different process begins. A simple question often comes to mind. What happens after a rare or expensive item shows up on camera? According to production insiders and industry standards, immediate security steps take place. Storage facilities usually require buyers to clear out purchased units by the very next day. That rule alone creates urgency, especially when valuables sit exposed in an open locker. Cast members must quickly arrange transport, protection, and storage, often within hours. When a discovery looks especially valuable, confidentiality becomes a major rule. Details about the item, the exact location, and even the buyer often stay locked down. Dan Dotson once auctioned a unit containing items valued at $7.5 million. Yet Dotson refused to share the buyer's name or the storage location. Dotson explained that privacy mattered for everyone involved, especially when money reached that level. That decision raised another quiet question. Why would secrecy matter so much? The answer connected to safety, legal risk, and theft prevention. Valuable finds can attract attention fast, and unwanted attention creates danger. Once items leave the storage unit, another critical stage begins through professional appraisal. No major discovery moves forward without expert evaluation. Appraisers trained in specific categories such as fine art, rare coins, antiques, or vintage collections examine each item carefully. Written appraisals often cost at least $150 per hour, and complex collections may require multiple specialists. Brandi Passante's million-dollar discovery did not rely on a single opinion. Several experts examined the item separately, reviewed authenticity, studied condition, and compared market history before a final value reached $1.2 million. This process prevents exaggeration and protects both buyers and production teams. Many fans wonder why numbers sometimes change after filming. The reason often lies in deeper research completed after the cameras stop rolling. Appraisers take time to verify materials, signatures, manufacturing periods, and market demand. A piece that looks ordinary at first glance can gain value through historical importance. On the other hand, an item that looks priceless may lose value after closer inspection. This careful process keeps the show grounded in reality rather than hype. Legal involvement adds another layer whenever ownership disputes arise. Storage laws allow auctioned units to be sold after missed payments, but rare situations bring former owners back into the picture. In the case of the $7.5 million discovery auctioned by Datsun, attorneys representing the original owners stepped in. Negotiations followed, and a settlement allowed the buyer to keep $1.2 million while returning the remaining value. That outcome surprised many people who assumed buyers always kept everything. Legal teams exist to prevent long court battles and ensure fair outcomes under state laws. A question naturally follows. Why would a buyer agree to give anything back? Legal experts explain that settlements save time, reduce risk, and protect future profits. A long court case could freeze valuable assets for years, costing far more than a negotiated return. Not every incredible discovery ever reaches television screens. Some of the most valuable finds never appear on camera at all. Contract rules, legal limits, and privacy concerns often block footage from airing. Dave Hester once claimed that producers arranged appraisals weeks before filming, a claim that surfaced during a lawsuit against the network. Whether accurate or not, such claims highlight how controlled the process can be behind the scenes. Storage facility managers also play a major role in what appears on screen. Many managers decline publicity outright. One manager reportedly explained that sharing information publicly could cost an entire business account. That fear explains why a discovery involving $500,000 in gold doubloons never appeared on television, even though the unit sold for just $1,100. No cameras recorded the find, no episode documented the moment, and no celebration aired. Business relationships mattered more than television excitement. This hidden system shows that Storage Wars operates on more than surprise and luck. Security, confidentiality, expert review, and legal oversight all shape what audiences eventually see. Every major find moves through a quiet network of professionals whose work rarely earns screen time. That reality raises another question. Does television ever show the full picture? The answer often rests in what remains unseen. Behind each dramatic reveal sits paperwork, contracts, phone calls, and long hours of verification. The thrill of discovery still exists, but the responsibility that follows often outweighs the excitement. Valuable items demand care, silence, and patience. In the end, Storage Wars may appear loud and spontaneous, but the real operation functions with precision, caution, and strict control, ensuring that every major discovery remains protected long after the cameras stop recording. What this means for Brandy and the show's future. This million-dollar jackpot did more than shock fans of Storage Wars. It quietly reshaped the future for both Brandi Passante and a reality series that has managed to stay alive far longer than most people ever expected. As the show moves into its 15th season, this discovery arrived at a moment when many long-running shows begin to lose their spark. Some people even wondered if Storage Wars had already shown everything it had to offer. After all, how many lockers could still hold real surprises after more than a decade on television? That question now feels almost funny in hindsight. The discovery reminded everyone that chance still plays a powerful role in storage auctions, and that one overlooked unit can still change everything in an instant. For Brandi Passante, the impact reaches far beyond one lucky day at an auction. The find cemented a reputation that had been building quietly for years. For a long time, Passante was mainly recognized as one half of the Young Guns duo alongside former partner Daryl Sheets. While that partnership made both names famous, it also placed Passante in a shared spotlight. Many fans saw the duo as a package deal rather than as two separate business minds. This million-dollar discovery shifted that image almost overnight. Suddenly, Passante stood alone as one of the most successful treasure hunters in the history of the show. The locker did not just hold valuable items, it carried proof of sharp instincts, patience, and a willingness to trust experience even when others walked away. Could there be a clearer way to rewrite a public image? The financial impact of the discovery also changed the business landscape for Passante. A windfall of $1.2 million offers something few storage buyers ever experience, which is real breathing room. Instead of worrying about thin margins or risky flips, Passante now holds serious capital. That kind of money opens doors. Retail operations can expand without the same pressure. New locations become possible. Inventory can be held longer instead of rushed to sale. Even entirely new business ventures come into view. Antique stores, resale shops, or even private collections suddenly feel more realistic. Some observers have already wondered whether Passante might step into a mentorship role or develop branded ventures tied to the storage auction world. With this level of financial backing, almost every option looks different. This financial cushion also changes how future auctions may unfold. In the past, careful bidding often meant stopping early and avoiding emotional decisions. Now, Passante enters auctions with far more flexibility. A higher bid no longer carries the same risk it once did. That does not mean reckless behavior, but it does mean confidence backed by security. Other bidders may feel that shift immediately. When someone known for smart, controlled bidding suddenly shows willingness to go higher, the entire room feels it. Could this lead to more aggressive auctions? Could overlooked units suddenly attract attention simply because Passante shows interest? These ripple effects matter more than many people realize. The audience reaction has been just as dramatic as the business impact. News of the million-dollar find spread quickly across social media platforms. Short clips, reaction videos, and headlines pulled in people who had never watched Storage Wars before. Some came out of curiosity. Others came because the idea of real treasure still hidden in dusty lockers felt exciting in a world flooded with scripted entertainment. Viewership numbers jumped, not only for new episodes, but also for older seasons streaming online. People wanted context. People wanted to see how Passante operated before the big win. What kind of instincts led to that moment? What clues were others missing? Entertainment news outlets leaned heavily into the story, and for good reason. The discovery represented the very heart of what made the show popular in the first place. Storage Wars was never just about arguments, rivalries, or dramatic reactions. At its core, the show promised the thrill of the unknown. Open a door, take a risk, and hope for something incredible. Over time, some viewers felt that this balance shifted toward cast drama rather than treasure. The Passante jackpot reminded everyone why the original idea worked. Real finds still exist. Luck still matters. Experience still pays off. In a television landscape where authenticity often feels rare, this moment felt genuine. The timing could not have been better as the show enters its 15th season. Many reality series struggle to remain relevant past their early years. Audiences change. Attention spans shrink. Formats feel tired. This discovery breathed new life into the franchise at exactly the right moment. It gave longtime fans something to celebrate and gave new viewers a reason to tune in. More importantly, it restored belief in the premise itself. If a locker no one wanted could hold $1 million surprise, what else might still be out there? This moment may also influence how future episodes are produced and edited. In recent seasons, some episodes leaned heavily on cast conflicts, rivalries, and personal tensions. While drama keeps viewers engaged, it can sometimes overshadow the actual auctions. Producers now have clear evidence that the treasure hunting itself still captures attention. There is a strong chance that future episodes may shift focus back toward strategy, instinct, and the gamble behind every bid. Would viewers rather watch arguments or watch life-changing discoveries unfold? The answer now seems clearer than ever. Passante's success may also inspire other cast members to rethink how they approach auctions. Units that once looked boring or risky might now receive a second glance. Bidders may feel encouraged to trust intuition rather than surface appearances. The idea that big rewards can hide behind dusty doors suddenly feels more believable. This does not mean every auction will turn into a bidding war, but it does mean hesitation may fade. That shift alone could reshape the tone of future seasons. Beyond the show itself, the discovery sends a broader message about opportunity and timing. Storage auctions have always attracted people looking for a chance to change their circumstances. Most walk away with small wins, minor losses, or break-even results. Very few experience anything close to $1 million find. Yet stories like this keep hope alive. They remind people that patience, knowledge, and persistence sometimes align in unexpected ways. Is that not the reason people keep showing up to auctions week after week? In the end, this jackpot stands as more than just a lucky break. It represents growth, evolution, and renewed belief. For Brandi Passante, it marks a shift from shared identity to independent success. For Storage Wars, it proves that the heart of the show still beats strong after 15 seasons. For audiences, it restores excitement in the idea that reality television can still deliver moments that feel real, unscripted, and genuinely thrilling. And for anyone who has ever wondered whether overlooked opportunities still exist, this moment quietly answers that question with a confident yes. With this, we have come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do well to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. To enjoy more thrilling stories, click now on the following video that pops up on your screen.